I wanted to put this clip out after the video I made. I wasn't sure if I was going to throw it in here into the video that I made or just release it as a small clip, so I decided to release it as a small clip. When you look back at how men were, how American men were, let's say like in the 30s and in the 40s and in the 50s, the men were the leaders in the churches. And so people nowadays will say things like, oh, the reason why men aren't in the church is because the church is more feminized. And I will say the church is more feminized because men left the church. Men left morality and responsibility to pursue immorality and open sexuality. And so as a result, the women adapted. And so that's why as time went by into the 50s and into the 60s and into the 70s, you saw more women still in church. And you can look back at the articles. There's plenty of data that shows that there were more women going to church than men going to church. Why is that? It's because the men had left, not as a result of the church becoming more feminine, but as a result of the men choosing to leave and not be responsible for women, not be responsible for children, and not be responsible for society. You saw men desirous of being immoral, and they created this society. And so women are a lagging indicator of the direction of a society, because women are naturally followers. And so it takes women time to change their behavior because they're looking for the direction of men. They're looking to see which direction men are going. And so that's why you see a lot of articles talking about how younger people are being, quote unquote, more conservative. The reason being is because the people who came before you, like the baby boomers, were more socialists. They're more socialist. Just look at all of the socialist programs that were created in America in the early 1900s, like Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and 401ks and all the money printing that went along with it. You had a huge socialist movement that was a result of the early 1900s. And now young people are experiencing the ramifications of their forefathers that came before them. And so this is why you see more conservatism among them, because now they're experiencing the weight of the ramifications. The result of what the society that men created that came before, places like Gen Z, and generations like Gen Z or Gen Alpha or millennials. This is why you're seeing them starting to change and go in a different direction, because their forefathers didn't have to bear the weight. The boomers didn't have to bear the weight of creating all of this money, of the immorality that they created. You know, it's so funny listening to a lot of these boomers talk about, complaining about how children are nowadays. And it's like, well, these are the kids you raised. These are the kids that you raised. So you shouldn't be surprised. It's the same thing. You hear a lot of these people talking about entitlement, that the young generation, they're so entitled. And it's like, you voted for Medicare, Medicaid, you voted for socialism. You voted for the wealth of your children, of your grandchildren, and of your great grandchildren. And as the system is literally collapsing all around us, people are drowning in debt. And they're like, as long as I get my Social Security, I'm fine. As long as I get my Medicaid, Medicare, that's all that matters. They literally are trying to exit their way without experiencing the ramifications. And now their children are the ones that are like, well, we need to do something about this problem that you've left me. And so what you'll see is, you'll start to see women act more conservatively as the men become more moral, as the men pick up the mantle of morality and are willing to take responsibility for the women. Then you'll see the state lose its power. It doesn't mean that these people are going to give it up willingly, but as men desire more responsibility, they want to abdicate authority to the state. And this is what happened in the past. Men abdicated responsibility to the state assumed responsibility for the women, and the men pursued promiscuity. And as a result, you have, the fatherless generations that people complain about. It's like, well, these are the people that you raised. They are a reflection of the morality and the system that you set up. It is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out the video if you're watching this one before the other one. Watch the other video where I explain it in a bit more detail.